good runs, but I'm very much looking forward to the Zelda 2 run. Thank you for your donation, Miria. Oh, this is a good one. I like this one already. We have a $25 donation from Donate to AGDQ that says, "What's a cat's favorite kind of castle? A sand castle. Just don't ask what they use it for." My goodness. All right, and with that, folks, we get ready. We have Kid Icarus coming up with Fruit Bat Salad. Good luck and have fun.
All right, hi everybody. I'm Fruit Bat Salad. I'm going to be running Kid Icarus for you. Before I start, I want to introduce my co-commentator. Joining me on my digital couch is rumbleminze. How's it going, Rumble?
It's going great. I am super excited to see Kid Icarus back at GDQ. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I hope people enjoy it.
Cool. Yeah, me too. All right, so let's do a quick countdown here. We will start in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so this is Kid Icarus. This is one of my favorite NES games, so I'm really glad I get to show it off here. It's a platformer game from 1986, and it's a pretty tough game, but it's a really fun speedrun. I think it's kind of an underrated speedrun, so I'm hoping that some more people will see this and want to check it out.
Yeah, you know, I feel like people complain about RNG in so many speedruns, but Kid Icarus has very little, if any, RNG in the speedrun. It's all skill-based.
Yeah, I agree. Like, when I die in this game, I always feel like it's my fault. I never feel like I was killed or like a run died because of RNG or anything like that. You don't really have to worry about drop luck because every enemy drops hearts. Oh, actually, look at that. We got a glitched out Reaper. So those Reapers, if they see you, they will spawn a bunch of minions that are called Reapets. We'll probably see some of those later.
Yeah, and they do a ton of damage. They're quite dangerous. Even in World 1-1, which is, I think, by far the easiest stage, the Reapers are very dangerous.
So here we're entering stage 1-2. This is kind of an interesting stage. Rumble, maybe you can explain some stuff about this.
Yeah, I think the biggest point of stage 1-2 is that it's the first stage where we're going to see a strength upgrade. And the way the game works is there are some rooms scattered about, and the game keeps track of some hidden score, or a skill system as it kind of calls it. And you go into these rooms, and if you didn't do well enough, then Zeus does not bestow upon you an extra power upgrade, and you reset because missing the first power upgrade is game breaking and makes it way too hard. But if you did do well enough, then he'll give you the upgrade. You get skill points by killing enemies, picking up hearts, and going indoors, oddly enough. You lose skill by getting hit and by shooting arrows. And FPS is casually making some 3-frame jumps on what is the omnipresent ice physics in every NES game.
Yeah, the ice physics in this game can be a little bit troublesome. One thing I'll say, though, is this game does not have any water levels, so that's nice, because that's also like another troublesome thing in a lot of games.
Yeah, that's true. Although we were talking earlier, we think maybe they were thinking about a water level. There's a lot of enemies that look like they belong in the water, but there is no water levels, unfortunately.
Yeah, you know, there's...
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so here's the door where we're going to pay a visit to Zeus and get that strength upgrade. I want to mention, you might have seen that I skipped a bunch of other doors, and there's a lot of other stuff that this game has that you don't really get to see in the any percent run. So if you play this game casually, you should check out some of those other doors. They have shops, there's a gambling room, there's like a strength training room where you can get a special weapon, and some other stuff. So some of that stuff shows up in a different category we have for best ending. But in any percent, we only go in the doors that we need to.
Yeah, I will say the shops in this game for a casual player are vastly overpriced. But we got our strength upgrade. We now do 2 damage instead of 1, which is a big improvement. It makes a lot of these enemies would normally take 2 hits to kill. Makes stage 1-3 a little bit easier. I think stage 1-3 is probably the hardest stage in the game, both casually and to speedrun, to do it quickly.
Yeah, and the reason why this is so tough is because it's a long stage and you only have this 1 bar of health. And you know what's going to happen later, usually at the end of 1-4 or somewhere around there, when you reach 20,000 points, you get a health upgrade. And at that point, you'll have 2 bars of health instead of 1. So the game actually gets easier from that point onward. Sometimes I see people try this game and they get frustrated with 1-3 and give up on the game. But if you can just get past it, it does get easier.
Yeah, I know when I played this game as a kid, I don't think I ever got past 1-4. And when I picked it up again, when it came out on 3DS, on the 3D Classics, I actually went and read an FAQ. And it was at that point that I realized there were health upgrades and strength upgrades in the game. And so I actually grinded out 50,000 points to get 2 health upgrades before the 1-4 dungeon. And made the game a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, and it's totally possible to get the health upgrade, not just before the 1-4 dungeon, but even before 1-3, if you want to get 1 health upgrade. But that probably only happens if you're deliberately trying to farm enemies. Oh, speaking of the 1-4 dungeon, we're almost there. So, the 1-4 dungeon, so we just got through these 3 vertical levels, and this game has some other types of levels.
Yeah, absolutely, and a very nice 1-3, by the way. So we're heading into 1-4, and we're about to come on the most important trick in the game, which is what we've termed the rumble slide, which you just saw he squatted down and slid a little bit. That saves an immense 1 frame over just walking to the right.
You know what? I think that one might actually save 2 frames.
Ooh, it's twice as good as I thought it was. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's the 2 most important frames. Actually, we should probably talk about the other trick I'm about to do.
So this is probably the actual most important trick, which is the wall clip, which allows us to skip a big portion of the dungeon. We're going to be using these wall clips in all 3 dungeons. And first try, nicely done. That lets us go pretty much straight to the boss, which we're walking in on right now. This is Twin Bellows, has 100 health. Our friend is up there flying around. He'll live since he didn't get hit by a fireball. Unfortunately, he won't do any damage to Twin Bellows. For some reason, the first little angel helper doesn't do any damage to the bosses. I'm not sure why.
All right, so that's World 1.
All right, nicely done. And you got the health upgrade.
Yep. So I have 3 health right now, and one thing you might notice is that this game does not refill your health in between stages. And there are going to be some falling rocks here who coincidentally do exactly 3 damage, so I do not want to get hit by them.
Yeah, this is also our 2nd strength upgrade level. Oddly enough, this level has 2 strength upgrade doors, although you can only ever get 1 strength upgrade per level, so they give you 2 chances at it, basically. Luckily, these boulders, which frankly I believe look a lot like Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they give 500 skill, and the big hearts also give 500 skill, so it's pretty easy to get enough skill to get the upgrade here.
All right.
FPS is being quite careful here, but there's going to pick up a health chalice here shortly, which will make things a little bit more, breathe a little bit easier.
That was a good uppercut. All right, so this health chalice I'm about to grab, it's going to give me 1 bar of health. That is the last free health chalice in the game. I am going to get 1 more chalice, but I'm going to have to pay for it in a shop, and it's going to cost 210 hearts. That's going to be in stage 2-4. I want to say, as I'm going through this level, I need to say I love the soundtrack to this game. The World 2 music, especially, really good stuff.
Yeah, I think it's important when you decide on a game to speedrun, make sure you like the music, because you're going to be hearing it a lot. Two 2-1 is also kind of a breather after a very tough 1-3 and a pretty tough fortress. 2-1, you just kind of hold right and shoot stuff and shoot the boulders as they come and go in this last door and get our strength.
Yeah, we also get a new hair color when you get a strength upgrade.
Yeah, change our clothes a little bit.
I want to say that for stage 2-2, I'm going to take my headphones off and just focus, and I'll let rumbleminze tell you all about stage 2-2.
Yeah, no pressure. I also have a haiku for stage 2 too, so I hear that's all the rage with this GDQ. So here's my World 2-2 haiku. World 2 left to right. Wrap to make platform cycles. Waka waka jump. And that is a shout out to Darkwing Duck's Waka Waka mnemonic, which he uses for this. FPS is doing this screen wrap in order to make a few platform cycles that we'll see later, as well as make it easier to avoid enemies. It saves a good bit of time, but obviously if you fall in the water here, Pit cannot swim. He just falls to his death and you start over. So got to make sure we know everywhere to jump. He stays very far to the right. This wrap, if you only want to make the platform cycles, is actually not too punishing. You can actually be a little bit further left and do just fine. However, FPS goes very far to the right to avoid all those enemies. The enemies don't come anywhere close to him as long as he's that far on the right side of the screen. You may have also saw those thieves who ran through. They don't do any damage, but they would steal any special weapons that he had earned from those training rooms that we mentioned in World 1. Coming up here, more ice physics, and the platforms I think will be coming up shortly, if I remember. And there they are. Now these platforms, if you were in the non-wrapped position, you'd have to wait a cycle to be able to jump on them. But if you get all the way to the right side, you get to get that first cycle every time. Other than those platforms, this is a pretty straightforward stage. And I think the biggest hitch here, if you're gonna make a mistake, is just out of boredom, really. You kind of fall asleep and just walk off and fall down. The ice physics in this game, we mentioned it, are a little weird. They actually affect you more after you jump. Like, it takes longer for it to go back to normal physics after you jump than it does while you're walking. Which sometimes you'll jump to try to turn around in air thinking that it'll save you, and then you just fall right off.
All right, so I'm going to take an intentional death here. Got it.
Yeah,
It's funny, I had my headphones around my neck, and I could still hear you, and as I was going through the beginning of the stage, I heard you saying like waka waka jump while I was trying to focus, so my plan backfired, but it worked out.
That was the end of my haiku.
I heard part of it, yeah, it's good stuff. So this stage we also do the screen wrap. Big jump, big jump. So yeah, like Rumble was saying, we do this to get some of the platforms on the first cycle, and also so certain enemies can't hit us. I'm gonna run through some lava here. That's part of the reason we do the intentional death, is we know we're gonna take a bunch of damage on this stage. So intentional death to fill up your health is a good idea. I need to stay really far to the right. I'm actually a little concerned that I might have gotten pushed a little too far to the left, so I'm going to do a backup screen wrap right here, and that should be good.
Yeah, this screen wrap is much tighter than the one on World 2-2. There's some platforming coming up here that if you're even a couple blocks back, you won't make it, and instead you'll die.
And if I get hit by a snake, that can also mess me up and get me killed. All right, there's a scary jump. One more.
Nicely done.
Cool. All right, so in this section coming up, I'm gonna let the screen scroll a little bit, and watch out for the snowman. Watch out for the snowball. Okay, the snowball hit me. Jump over the water. Don't forget about the water. And we're gonna run through some more lava. Hopefully not take too much damage.
Yeah, those snowballs do 1 damage apiece, but the snowmen themselves do 3, I believe, and so you want to make sure if you're going to get hit by the projectile rather than the enemy.
Yeah, absolutely. Some projectiles here. These might be in a bad spot. Okay. All right, good. We're making it through to 2-4.
Excellent. That's always a big sigh of relief for me when I don't fall down that last water pit. dying at the end of some of these level 2 stages is a big time loss because they're some of the longest stages in the game, and you have to. There's obviously no checkpoints. We've got some more screen or wall clips here. These are going to be, or one of these is going to be a little bit scarier because there's lava underneath us while we do it, so you're taking damage while you're trying to do the wall clip. That's one of the task clips that you talked about, I think, in your interview, where a lot of people don't go for them. There you go, nice try, third try.
All right, so Rumble, as the boss fight is ending, I'll ask for some quiet time, so you know what I'm going to be setting up as the boss fight ends.
Yep, I got it.
All right, so I'm going to take one hit on purpose during the fight. I'm actually trying to get my health lower. You'll see why later.
Yeah, and we didn't talk about attack canceling on the last boss, but it's very important on this one. This is one of those boss fights, as I mentioned, there's no RNG. This pattern is completely fixed, so the speed at which you kill this boss is entirely determined by how fast you can attack cancel by pushing down in between shots and get those arrows into the boss.
All right, got it. So I'm setting up a health underflow glitch, and I'm going to focus for about 20 seconds here, but my health is now at 0, so I need to watch out. Any of these things could kill me.
What we're going to be looking for is some environmental damage to take damage from, because that will actually heal us.
Okay, so that was the scary part. I mean, the rest of this is still scary, but I'm always a little bit relieved when I get through that section. There's going to be a Reaper up here. Hopefully they won't see me. So you see that tomato-looking thing in the background? Rumble was saying something about environmental damage, and yeah, the sky tomato does damage, and the game doesn't know what to do about it, so I went from 0 health to full health. Oh, snakes here. I hate when there's snakes here. All right, let's just go. I'm gonna take some damage to these. Oh, say hi to Ridley.
There was Ridley. I like to call stage 3-1 the Something in the Air Tonight stage. It is full of both Phils and Collins, so we call it the Something in the Air stage.
I don't think I've heard you say that. I like that. All right. But yeah, the enemy's called Phil and Collins. And in this stage, we're going to see some enemies that look suspiciously like Metroids.
Oh, they're not, though. They're Komatos. So...
if you say so.
That's, you also notice FBS leaving one Reaper alive. That actually helps because generally these other Reapers will see you, but if there's already one Reapette alive, then it won't spawn anymore, and that reduces lag quite a bit and makes it a lot safer.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to deal with one of those on the screen instead of a set of 4.
And with the Sky Tomatoes, we got some Sky Octopi. Oddly enough, this game seems like everything with wings does not fly, and all the things that don't have wings fly and hop around the screen. I don't understand how that works.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we will see Pit flying a little bit later, though.
That's true. That's true. Pit will fly with his wings.
All right, so at the beginning of this next stage, 3-3, there's a pretty cool little trick we do. There's a manipulation here where I'm going to kill a certain one of these not Metroids while it's moving to the right. So jump, 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 shoot. So by killing that Metroid while it's moving to the right, it influences these moving platforms because the enemies and platforms in this game share the same sprite slots. And by killing that enemy as it's moving to the right, the platform will spawn with just a little bit of momentum towards the right. And it basically is just enough to let you get through all those platforms on the first cycle without having to wait for any of them.
Yeah, that's also why if you ever have a bunch of flying enemies on the screen while you get to moving platforms, they'll generally just disappear. those moving platforms are taking up their sprite slots and they just go away.
We're coming up on one of my favorite sections here, the rooftop section. You know, I grew up playing this game, and I always thought that this was a cool-looking stage. And these rooftops, you only see them at the end of this stage as we're getting up to the Sky Palace. This is a cool little way to get through this.
Yeah, I appreciate you staying on the edge of the screen so that we can see the beauty of the sky, palaces as you go up.
Yeah. All right, well, we should say something about 3-4, because this is actually the longest fortress in the game. It's a gigantic fortress, but this is a speed run, and we want to go fast, so we've got some pretty big sequence breaks.
Yeah, we're going to be doing some more wall clips, and I have another haiku for 3-4. It goes like this. 3-4 is quite big. Skip past the Pandora fight. Have everything.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
So there were a few extra wall clips that you don't generally have to do, but FPS is so consistent, he's thrown up. Hey, you even got the have everything for me. I appreciate that.
Just for you.
There you go. That was 3-4. We skipped the Pandora fight, which is actually a lot of RNG, but we get to skip it, which is great. Now we're in 4-1 and we can fly.
Yeah, so we got the 3 magic treasures, the magic wings, the magic bow, and the mirror shield. You're supposed to get these 3 treasures from defeating the 3 bosses. We never saw the 3rd boss, so I don't know how we got all 3 treasures.
Well,
but here we are.
I think it's obvious because the shopkeeper has everything. So he just gave us one of his extra treasures.
It's always funny that he says we have everything when he really doesn't. The shopkeeper has 3 items, and there are other items that he doesn't have. Anyway, so yeah, we've got kind of an old school shooter vibe kind of going on for this stage. It's a little bit similar to like Super Mario Land, where the final stage is a shooter. I think that might have had some of the same development team. But in any case, this game has a lot of variety. That's something I've been trying to emphasize. You know, you have vertical stages, horizontal stages, the fortresses are like mazes. Now we've got a shooter. So there's never a dull moment. It's like a really cool speedrun, and I'm hoping that more people will want to try it out. I'm going to give myself a little plug here and mention that I made a Kid Icarus speedrun tutorial. So if you have any interest in giving the speedrun a try, you can look that up on my channel or just look on YouTube for Kid Icarus speedrun tutorial.
Yeah, I also want to mention one more thing about 3-4 before we get too far, which is the way that screen wrap works. The fortresses are essentially 64 rooms long, all of them, even though most of them don't take up the full size. But if you happen to force Pit into a room that is outside of those 64 rooms, like room 65 or room 0, the game freaks out and just says, forget it, we're going to finish the level. And so that's what happens there, is we actually go out to the right of the bottom right-hand corner in the 64th room, and then it just works us out. Here you see FPS sitting right up next to Medusa. This is, it's not recently discovered, but it is recently implemented into the run. And this is, I think, what you're talking about with TMR and Darkwing have been kind of setting this up.
Coming up on time soon. Get ready and time.
Yeah, GG. Nicely done. That essentially lets you hit Medusa twice, sometimes, if you fire on the right frame.
So I want to point out that we get the worst ending in the speedrun. You get a farmer's hat and a sickle. So Pit gets to fulfill his dream of becoming a farmer. Basically, this game has 5 different endings, and it's based on how many things did you fully upgrade. But in the any percent run, there's a lot of stuff that we don't upgrade. So yeah, we get the worst ending. But yeah, that is Kid Icarus. We defeated Medusa, rescued Palutena. I had a lot of fun. How about you, rumbleminze? Did you have a good time?
That was fantastic. That was really well done. That was a really clean run, FPSs. And it was a little too fast. We had 4 more minutes that we could have been talking about Kid Icarus that you instead finished the game too quick.
Do we know what time this was?
I'm looking at it right now. It was a 21:58.
All right, cool. I'm happy with that. That's great. All right, well, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Let's keep supporting Doctors Without Borders. And let's keep watching this NES block. I think we have Eon up next running Zelda 2 RBO. I'm really looking forward to that. That's a really cool run, and she's gonna do great. So make sure you check that out. Yeah, anything else you want to say, Rumble?
No, thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you very much to Fruit Bat Salad and Rumble for that lovely commentary and Kid Icarus run. We have a $30 donation from Maniacal. It says, Kid Icarus ahead of schedule. Good luck, Fruit Bat Salad, on showcasing this lovely, quirky game and all of the hard work you've put into it. Stoked to watch you enjoy it. Much love from the Stratosphere community. Thank you very much for your donation. We also have a $1,000 donation from Anonymous, who says, 5 syllables here, 7 more syllables here. Are you happy now? That may have been the best haiku I've read yet. I know that there's others out there, but I really like that one. Thank you very much, Anonymous. Talitha donates $15 saying, I am a woman of my words. Here's my donation to double my previous. Keep up the good work to everyone, speedrunners behind the scenes, and the amazing people at MSF. I don't do puns, but I hope we can catch, oh my goodness, the Cat Castle incentive. Thank you very much for your donation, and you threw me off guard there. I appreciate that. Thank you. We have a $50 donation from Anonymous who says cat percent is best percent. So speaking of the Talos principle and the Cat Castle, we are currently $820 out of 3,000. So if you want to see and visit the Cat Castle, and then we have the cat ending in the Talos principle, a lot of cat incentives going on, if y'all couldn't tell. I think that's why we're getting these cat puns and these cat donations. So keep those puns coming, please. Some of these are really good that I'm reading right now. And even going into Witcher here, we have a $100 donation from Moonwabbit. He says, we are seriously devoted to series. So another pun there for the Witcher incentive as well, the bid war. And quick update on that as well. Save Siri is up to $3,934 to save the frames, $515. So again, if you want to save those frames in The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, please get those donations in. I love it when a bid war is close, so be sure to close that gap if you can. Although a lot of people want to save series, so understandable. Fruit Bat Salad and Mini Memes donates $25. And I don't know if that's memes or memes, but I've covered both of them. So let me know if I have the pronunciation right on that. Thank you all so much for your donation. And Fruit Bat Salad, thank you so much again for that lovely Kid Icarus run. I appreciate y'all doing that for us. Thank you. See, I'm reading these donations now, even names for puns now. This is what happens when we get too many. Ruffles the Werewolf donates $15 saying, Skybilz taunting us to make clawful puns. Well, rather than whiskering them into the wind, I'll tailor my donation to your request. Here's to a perfect week of GDQ runs. Cat donation goes to the cat ending incentive. So many cat incentives going on right now. Thank you very much, Ruffles. They don't stop. We have $25 from Jam Cow who says, oh man, so glad I could catch the event. It is the perfect thing to get through the week. I'm absolutely positive we'll beat last year, so let's get more donations in right meow. I'm sorry. You don't have to be sorry. It's okay. I just appreciate everybody donating for a good cause. No need to be sorry. This is what I signed up for. Don't feel bad. I mean, if there is like a really bad one, I may say something in jest, but I very much appreciate all of the love here for Doctors Without Borders. All right, and with that, we're going to throw to an interview. Be right back.
Hello everyone, I am Fiesel, and I'm here with Enchantress of Numbers, who will be running Zelda 2 about 30 minutes from now after Power Blade, for real this time. So welcome Enchantress of Numbers, thank you for talking with me today.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
So many viewers will recognize Zelda 2, but the category that you're running, Reverse Boss Order, is going to be new to a lot of people. How is this category defined?
So basically we have to, the first boss we have to kill is Thunderbird. So that means we can't place any gems before Thunderbird, so I'll be going in super under-leveled. And then we go Palace 6 on down to Barba, Guma, Karok, Rebanak, Helmet Head, Horsehead, and then we make our way back to Great Palace to take on Dark Link to get the credits. So
I see, yeah. So basically doing the bosses in reverse order with the exception of Dark Link, obviously, which triggers the credits.
yeah.
So that means you're going to be fighting the hardest bosses in the game with the least amount of resources, really.
Correct.
So it's almost like a low % run in that respect, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's really routed that way too. I don't get the shield spell, I don't get the life spell, I don't even get the jump spell, which is often determined to be a required spell.
Yeah, yeah, it depends. Yeah, that's soft requirement, kind of.
Right.
So most people would know this to be a somewhat linear game, and you're doing this in a completely different order. So what glitches are you going to be taking advantage of that let you achieve this?
Right. So the big one is the healer glitch. That's one where we talk to the healer in the first town on 2 specific frames, double frame perfect. Then get her to go up into a non-existent door, giving us access to Glitch Town. From there, we can wrong warp. We can also set up a state known as Scroll Lock, which is really the glitch that blows the game wide open and lets you wrong warp all over the map and go through palaces much quicker than you could otherwise. Then there's a minor glitch called Fairy Feet that we can use to skip some pass-through encounters on the overworld, and those are really the main glitches that we use in the run.
So there is a very extreme, like any % with major skip glitches version of this run that uses the healer glitch, I believe, but not very much besides that, right? So
it does set up Scroll Lock as well, but it skips everything that is not absolutely necessary, and world record for that recently went down under 18 minutes, which is super exciting.
Yikes, that's great. Yeah, so because that is so short and so minimal, I imagine it's missing a lot of, the tech that people have discovered. So I would imagine that one of the advantages of Reverse Boss Order as a category is it shows off some of the other major glitches that you can do that, wouldn't apply to a straight any %.
Exactly, yeah. There's a really cool one that we can use to actually wrong warp between palaces. So we'll actually wrong warp from Palace 4 to Palace 3, and from Palace 2 to Palace 1, which saves a ton of time on the overworld. So,
how did this category and how did the route for this category develop, and who was involved in that process?
Yeah, so GTM did the first proof of concept run, I think back in 2017, and then after that, some runners. Nefarious Nosferatu, Skybilz, and Meg Attack did a lot of work on routing that, and Simple Dude improved the world record, and they really came up with what is largely the route that we use today. When I came along, I figured out that by counting keys and stuff that we actually don't need to get the magic key, and that saves a ton of time because with the glitches, it's actually really difficult to get the spell that you need for the magic key, so.
Yeah, so you, talk a little bit about how you kind of came onto the scene for this game, for this game in general, and specifically for this category, and what in particular drew you to this category of all the dozen plus categories out there?
So, I mean, as a kid, we had this game, and it was basically as long as I can remember, it's been my favorite game. So then I saw your runs at the GDQs in 2013, and those were really some of my first introduction to speedrunning. And so I knew, like, if I was going to speedrun a game, Zelda 2 was definitely going to be one of them. And then after the 2015 All Keys tournament, I kind of got in and started with All Keys, and it was never one to like only run a single category. I have a goal of running and putting up a good time in every single category on the leaderboards, and there are a lot for Zelda 2. And I really like the glitches in this game. It's super cool just how much you can break the game and it doesn't actually like crash or hardlock or anything. And so when people were finding all the new like routing in reverse boss order, that was like, oh, I've got to get in on that because that looks so fun.
Yeah, it sounds fun, and it's going to be, I think, amazing to watch. I haven't really watched a lot of this category, so it's mostly new to me. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah,
but that's
should be a good showing. So,
right, and I wish we could talk more. I'd love to really go in depth on this, but we have to move on to the next run. But I want to thank you very much, Enchantress of Numbers, for chatting with me, and best of luck with the run.
Thanks.
Well, everyone can catch the Zelda 2 run coming up in about 30 minutes right after the Power Blade run, which is up next.
All right, thank you very much to Feasel and Enchantress of Numbers. Very much looking forward to that Zelda 2 run. However, there is a run before then to also be very hype about. In a couple of minutes, we'll have Power Blade with NeoCAD coming up. But in the meantime, how about some more donations? I already see more haikus and more puns. Y'all aren't letting me down today. I appreciate this very... Sorry, I'm reading some of these comments right now and I can't even... very much the extra effort and love put into these comments today. I like it. Like right here, we have $5 for Anonymous who says, greetings from Mini. Oh my goodness, even mixing GDQ puns into cat puns. What is this today? What is this today? We have a $5 donation from Karathador. It says, haikus are so hard, much like taming a wild cat. Refrigerator. That was a lovely haiku. Thank you very much for your donation. We have a $200 donation from Mandarinas. No comment, but thank you very much for your donation. Zandra donates $25 saying, an incentive to visit a cat castle? Count me in. I'm always a fan of pause strats. Keep up the wonderful work, everyone. Thank you, Zandra. Mr. Game and Shout donates $15. He says, I'm happy to hear that haiku is a meme for this SGDQ, but I'd rather make rhyme while the runners save time. So Team Liberate, this one's for you. Ooh, a new poetic form enters the arena. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Game and Shout. All right, and with that, folks, the wait is over. Here's